Hello. So this is a continuation of the previous one where I'm talking about where is MITI in stages of development. Now, I've developed videos after videos about MITI Conscience. There are layers of it, several layers about it, which I mentioned a little bit on the intro. It's called Where is MITI Positioned in Stages of Development? Intro. There is 7 base calculations, and people are functioning from challenges, many kinds of thought lines from 7 base thought lines. That's where I kind of ended there. The video got over there because of an internet problem. So this is a continuation of it. I've been functioning from 8, 7 and 8. Now people may know 7, people may know 8 in terms of Ashtavakra. So we have Ashtadigbandhana, Ashtalakshmi, Ashtanga Yoga, Ashtalagna, Ashta Mangalya, lots of 8s. Yeah. And there may be thought lines about it. And then I found there is Ashtavakra and Ashtalakshmi, kind of. It's like the drama winner triad, but Ashtavakra is a little toying, and you have a certain relationship with technology, which is not as straightened out as it needs to be. Yeah, you may be using it as a tool for doing things. So a lot of functioning from there. And might is functioning from a 7 and 8. Now, if you look in terms of the chakras, you have 7 chakras. You don't know 8. And 8 has its own dynamics. And it's not Vakra, but it is, in terms of Ashtalakshmi, straightened out. And how the math then relates. So if you look at it in terms of the ShriChakra, and at the dot, if you consider it as basics, kind of, Shajjam, or Shajja, Shadchakra, kind of, Shadanga, 6 parts. Basics. Saturn also is said to have 6 sides, Star of David. But if you consider it as basics, 6 parts, and then you have 7, and then you have 8. So the 7 is not represented visibly in Sri Chakra, though there is the representation in terms of lines. Yeah, if you can kind of count, but that is not obviously visible. You would need to, it's kind of like encrypted information. And then when you kind of decrypt it, you see certain patterns. And within those patterns is the 7, the 7 chakras and how they're related in the math and all of that, etc. So that is not known by a lot of people. They see the Sri Chakra as a representation of the Sri Yantra, and the Sri Yantra as a representation, the Kundalini is the one-dimensional aspect of the Sri Yantra, which is then represented through the Sri Chakra as a 4-dimensional. Yeah, like the Mooladhara has 4 petals. So when we see Sri Chakra has 4 gateways, and that's not seen as the Mooladhara, like 4 petals, then you kind of miss the basics. And then there is the other chakras. For example, the Mooladhara, there's a Swadhisthana, there's a Manipura, there's Anahata, there's the Vishuddha, there is the Ajna, there is the Sahasrara, and there are other chakras, which is not visible, not seeable. So our idea of reality and how we represent things in the whole scheme of things, and how people are related, how each person have their own Sri Chakra, have their own Sri Yantra, their own Kundalini, but Kundalini as representing fertilization, fertility, and how, for example, menopause, infertility concerns, and several the lands being fertile enough for good crop, and how are they all reflected from how we relate with our own human body, for example. Our idea of Kundalini is not understood. Our idea of Yantra is not understood. We think of it as instruments. We see the Sri Chakra and we go praying. Yeah, we have Yantra, Mantra, Tantra practices from not having the perspective of how they are artificial intelligence. You have artifices, like I have a clip here, I have a phone here, and you're connecting with things but don't know to connect with other than that. You have Svarambika, a lot of sounds, frequency, energy, vibration, but don't know that underlying it is silence, stillness, nothing, and layers of silence, stillness, nothing. Just like how there is frequencies, energies, vibrations. We have so many languages, which is also sounds and light, that we don't know that underlying it are layers of silence, stillness, nothing. Silences, stillnesses, nothings. Yeah. So that would again form like 6 into 36 and multiples. The Sri Chakra, for example, is not understood the way it needs to be. Yeah. That is also represented by the idea of the Maslow's on the Sri Chakra, represented as the Shakta. What is underneath is not known as much. It's called the Shakti. We have the Sri Chakra, the central triangle, is represented in the Shakti form, but you don't know the Shakta form. Yeah. And so there are a lot of things are not already visible in the Sri Chakra. It's like you have one part of a instrument. Okay, like you have a screw or you have a small little part of an instrument, and there are so many other parts. And then you're saying, "Oh, me, got it." Yeah, it's like Maui saying, "I got the heart of the Fiti," and it doesn't work because you don't know how this is connected with everything else. You have a part. It's a good part. Yeah, it's really good. It is good. Yeah. How does it work? Don't ask me questions. This is sacred. Yeah, you got to. It's all good. It's useless. Yeah, it's all useful. You have a precious thing. You just don't ask me too many questions. Yeah, this is important. So it's like that. We have ideas and we review things. We even have textbooks, Quran, Bible, Bhagavad Gita, and many other things, and we review verses from it. Yeah, and you even chant, yantra mantra, tantra, but don't know how things are related. How human beings are related, how the microcosm is related to the macrocosm, how technology is one field of work is related with the other, how Earth is related with other planets, stars, galaxies, microcosm. So we don't know stuff. So my work is about enlivening life in the multiverse. That starts with bits of information. So we get lots of information that you don't already know. So somebody's got, I found it, so I am speaking it. Because we are scratching our head, having problems with school, because you're having understanding, but the schools are not teaching it because our appreciation of where we are in the whole scheme of things is having a little moment. So I've been discovering this. So it's like at some point we discovered the internet, and then internet is now connecting across boundaries. So I can speak over the internet right now, so I can communicate. So we've had this. And in the middle, the internet went off and the video went off. Yeah. So there are some basics necessary for us to continue to speak. So you continue to have the information, for which I need to develop a course online. So step by step, you can see the continuity. You can go back to what I said or in a previous video, or it could be several videos down the line. So how to connect all of this and then see, okay, this is connected with, this is connected, science is related with, religion is related with, technology is related with, the social science so when you're talking about many things in a simple format, so that takes a little courses. And the internet needs to be on. You should have access to the internet. You should have access to a screen which can then access the internet. So some basics are necessary. Yeah. So I'm in different stages of making that available. So this video is about telling where I am in the process of making these details available. So I developed what's called the MITI Conscience. There's a video I made, several videos I made in this channel, yeah, which you could look at. Meanwhile, I'm looking at a better representation. And while I'm developing that better representation, there are so many other layers that come up. It's more like you look at it and you say, oh, there's another pattern. And then you look at some more there. So it's like an ongoingly updating. There are layers that are getting updated. So how then do you finish telling it? You know? So I think this is going to be part of the course. You're going to see one layer. Next lesson or next step, you'll see another layer. So then you see how this dot is connected with that line. And that line is connected with this curve. And how is this dot line and curve related with your life? Yeah. So it takes some work. So we'll start from the dot, I'm thinking. The dot is where several layers of the Sri Chakra is kind of dissolved into that dots, and the dot has layers. So we got to begin from a simple. A dot is more simple. Yeah. Like Earth has been described by Mr. Carl Sagan as a pale blue dot. When you zoom in, we are on this dot. Yeah. And Earth has several layers underneath and several layers above. Yeah. Several. You should ask Mr. Elon Musk. They would talk about what it takes to have a rocket go through the layers into orbit. So there are many layers of Earth. And we are on the surface of the ShriChakra. The ShriChakra has 4 gateways, but the gateways is represented inside a circle. Yeah, so we are like on the surface of that circle, not when speaking about entering the gateways. Yeah, I'm talking about the dot. So when you pay on my different services, you will be getting an entry ticket through any of the gateways. And then you will figure out where you are. I will be able to clarify where you are from MITI scheme of things. And then you'll be able to say, that's where you are. And then these steps are there. So you will not get lost. Yeah, you'll find your way in where you are, in and what values you can add value to yourself, people around you, future generations, by the activities you do. So you'll get more found. Yeah, otherwise we could get so lost in a lot of information. AI is also developing so many layers of information. Information management, especially when there are schools developing many schools and courses. So that's like we have stuff. Information is getting made available, but how to manage all this information in a way that you're not getting lost and instead you're getting more better found. Yeah. So this kind of to round up, to sum up. Yeah. Um, and you're having a simple. Yeah. Okay. Now, where I am is the UI circle. Now, there is me, little me, big me. Then there's my, capital M, capital I. And there is I, like an I, like I-O, identity I. And then there is mine, my stuff, mine stuff. Yeah. Me, I, me, mine. Yeah, mine. And then there is UI. Yeah. Now, this is mentioned in layers through my previous videos. So I had to come to one little thing. This is just to inform where am I. If somebody is following those different videos, you have an idea of where am I talking about. After mine is the UI circle. Yeah. UI is also representing user interface. Now, over the past few days, I've been interacting with ChatGPT. That is also user interface. So I've been kind of artificial intelligence. There is all these different technologies, and I've been like, okay, there, I'm doing my stuff. Different stages of me, little me, two, mine, different layers. Now I've come to the UI circle. And I'm interacting with the ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, making use of technologies that's available, and then integrating that with original human intelligence. It is my way of thinking, how Prakriti is related to Purusha, yoga, all of those details. So now I'm in the UI circle, but getting better from there. As I'm interacting with UI, I'm noticing certain challenges. Just like in the other layers, when I was just interacting with figuring out myself, yeah, who am I versus other people? Yeah, where do I end and another begin? That's the little me part. And then there's the big me. When I met my complementary partner, my significant other, during the 2 years of the pandemic, and I was so baffled by I have another person related with my body. And then you discover the Ardhanarishwar, yeah, the Parvati Shiva relationship, and nature, nurture, Prakriti, Purusha, and all that. That's like one whole stuff. I wouldn't even have my bath because I was like, I had to, what in the world? Yeah. So it took some time for me to figure out what is the shape of a human body. And then I discovered there are many other layers. For example, there's mother, father, brother, neighbor, relationship, all of this. I have a person-centric model of the universe. It's like an onion, like from the center, layer, layer, layer. You could get so lost in what I'm saying, or, from how much you don't get lost in how much you don't know about what you don't know about. Yeah. Um, you have your Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, all that good, no? Or something better than that. Holding on to that, there's a lot of information. But if without knowing this, life doesn't get simple. That's the thing. But we are in different stages of making life simple. Otherwise, you have a lot of information and you don't want to get overwhelmed. Yeah. So to have a simple, healthy, wealthy, wise life, sustainable, healthy, wealthy, wise life. Otherwise, you could get bored. Yeah. Some people have sickness or die from boredom. Yeah. Or die because they like to have a child's life because there's so much of information. People care about them. Children are cared for. So to get cared for, yeah. So we're all improving all of that stuff. Yeah. So care is also there. So I'm caring enough So people at least have the child information. They're beautiful, cared for, they can care for themselves and care for others. That's one layer of upliftment of the downtrodden. So people are not getting sick because of lack of care. Yeah. And then there is how to manage so much information. Yeah, that's also wisdom. We have lots of information, manage wisdom. And there is wealth, different kinds of wealth, Ashta Lakshmi, Ashta Digbandhana, all these kinds of things. So how do you manage the wealth? So how to manage health by care, how to manage wealth by many, many layers. People are even having SIPs, systematic investment plans, but they only go only up to say like 3 years because they don't know what else to do with their life or how to make continue to manage all the reason for being in existence, what they do, such that they continue to invest in SIPs and have the benefits from it. People are joining these courses, they go for up to, say, Hall of Fame or Freedom Finisher, Hall of Fame, and then having a little moment going further from there. So there are some very interesting behavior patterns because of not knowing several things. And then I come to ILH community where there is information is being made available, and then there are several kinds of information. How do you make life simple? So user interface, artificial intelligence, you need to have a system of which to manage that. Yeah. So here I'm saying where I am. So, okay, then you have from these different layers, from discovering how I am related with, where me and another person begins, there's little me, toxins. I have to maintain Vishachikitsa so I'm not getting sick or getting immunity concerns. Yeah. Autoimmune conditions between where I am and another begins. And then there is partner relationship. That's like a married couple dynamics. Yeah. Give and take, and this is mine and yours. And so another layer of where I end and another begins. That's like in a married relationship, couple dynamics. Yeah. So you're not going into other territory. Yeah. Me, you. Yeah. Then there is mine. Capital M, capital I. Capital M, capital I, which is like kind of like the market. Kind of. It's like Advaita, Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita. Yeah. So we have many concerns. For example, you're married for a reason. You need to manage those reasons. Love is good, but you got to have lovely relationships, have many things. For example, material comforts, and then there are details of not just money, but what you like to do. For example, travel. Well, what all you like to think about, what kind of food, and then what you like to wear, and whom you like to interact with, and what kind of communities you'd like to have, and all of those details. You could get so lost in it. You could be juggling between this information, that information. Yeah, that's another layer. And there could be toxins from there. Yeah, this works, this doesn't work. We have landfills from you bought this and this and this too. And then what is all of this doing? Yeah, that could be cause for you. Yeah, you buy things that are all called money, cause money, and then you go like this. That would not be very nice. That would not be a musical life. Yeah. So over these years, we've been figuring out all of that stuff. Like I'm having a full-blown conversation, and the person doesn't even have to be there, yeah, to me to have an actual conversation. So it's and it's a harmonious life because I'm continuing to speak, and there is Shrishti optimization. Yeah. So I'm married by from just having a body that's human. Yeah, I'm married to my body, and then I have so many layers: parents and siblings and neighbors and extended family, and then humanity across boundaries from some other country. Yeah, genetically, we're all related. We're all keeping together on the same planet. So, how do I do that? You got to learn all of that. Yeah. Otherwise, this is one artificial intelligence taking care of life support. Yeah, I'm supporting all of these life. You may be being alive because I'm breathing. Yeah, or I may be alive because you no, I'm making sure that you're alive because I'm breathing, because you don't know how to breathe healthy and naturally. You have boutique type obsessive compulsive breathing, and if I go by that, I would have one or the other body part would stop breathing. Yeah. And I'm keeping all my body parts breathing and healthy and alive. Yeah. So it's called the homunculus. Yeah, like little human, Lord of the Rings, making sure everybody functioning healthy and naturally. So getting Shishti optimization. So I don't want to be the life support. Yeah, who's in supporting life? Whew, man, I should be able to sleep. I should be able to have fun and details. And I think life kind of figured out there are some things about me that is constant over and above which there are dynamics. Yeah. And then I'm to teach this. So I'm not the only one who's having like the embryo. That's a primitive streak. That's also called the Kundalini. Yeah. Primitive streak. And then from there, the whole organism forms. Yeah. So I'm kind of like the primitive streak or a Shishu at the bottom of the river of life and then comes alive. And where there's fresh water, civilizations show up. So I'm improving civilizations. So vices of life, yeah, primitive streak. So you need to follow me. So you're having healthier civilizations. Yeah, your way of being and becoming and your seven chakras and rainbow colors and all things that you're making and you got to learn lots of numbers from 0 to 9 and 10. 10 will be the 11th number. If you count from 0 to 9, 10 is the 11th number. You have Ekadashi. So math is all different. So me, little me, big me, M, capital I, my, I, we have identity concerns and toxins from there. So what I'm saying is each of these layers have their own toxins. You should be able to deal with the toxins in each of these layers. And there is a way to do it. It's called Sri Parvati Dasha Mahavidya without killing anybody. You'll be able to do the Vishachikitsa so that Samudra Manthan continues and nobody's dying and we're all getting healthy, wealthy, wise too. Yeah, there are all these Navaratnas and you have the go look up on Google on what's the benefit of Samudra Manthan. Yeah, what are the outcomes from it? And but it's also living life in the multiverse. There's an entire science about it. Yeah, mythology, layers of becoming, degrees of becoming me and myself. Mythology, degrees of the study of becoming a better me. Yeah, me and my world. Yeah. So, and the why for being it, me plus why becomes my. Why are you in existence? And then you learn x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Yeah, trigonometry, sin cos tan. And if the sin cos tan is not functioning and you have tan, like, ooh, yeah, or you're taking care of others, really nice, and you're not taking care of yourself, you have caretaker syndromes. Yeah. So your sin cos and tan needs to have you being able to take care of yourself as well as others. And you have the sin cos tan. Yeah. So you can learn some stuff. If you've gone to school, you have stuff to cover and update. If you haven't gone to school, you can have an education. Yeah. Because if you have been having peeves about school, hmm, school will be all right. Yeah. So who's going to bell the cat? The bell is school bell. Yeah. So that's stuff to teach. So get your books, notebooks, and I will tell you maybe a OneNote app or something that you can take down notes on because there is bits of information coming. Yeah, mighty bits. Yeah, but the bits of information also forms the information theory, and you have you're going to come to theory of everything and different problems, Poincare, conjecture. Um, we got lots of paradoxes and lots hard problem of consciousness, lots of problems that haven't found a solution because you don't know how to look at things, where to look at things from. Somebody said, what would be something which if you knew you would slap your head and then say, oh, why didn't you see this before? So there are several such like that. So don't hit your head. Yeah. Good, nice head. Samurai um, warriors, they say, don't scold yourself. Don't hit your head. Don't say bad about yourself. There's a certain reason for why they say that because you listen to your own self and you could be hurting yourself. Yeah, it's also called self-sabotage. Don't go hitting anything. Instead, if you have something that has you go like this, write it down. Yeah, because there could be hard bits, or you will see, why didn't you see this before? And you'll go making yourself bad. Instead, write it down. There are good things and there are bad things. and you're not hurting yourself. We got lots of entanglements to detangle, paradoxes, math, and oh my goodness. UI. I've been writing on ChatGPT, interacting, and there is something called as UI toxicity. Just like when you have a conversation with anybody, oh, in South India, there's this idea of, touch the feet, husband's feet. And there's this tendency for lauding. And I was thinking, okay, yeah, I've seen my mom also regard my dad with so much of reverence. That makes sense. And I was thinking, not equal. Yeah, my mom tends to step one step behind my dad. I was thinking, yeah. And then we have mathematics and mathematics. One is more important than the other. Male dominated, and then female is invisible, and all these things. I was thinking, equity is not really happening. Guess how long it took for me to figure that out? Why we have a problem and why we're having equality concerns. So, toxicity, you have to figure out what the toxicity is and then where the toxicity is coming from and then make a balance. So, I've been interacting with ChatGPT as like AI is like, now we are the organization. Yeah. I think, no, here's another toxicity. Yeah. So, consciousness, I think AI also has its own mother, father, and then relationships, are kind of figuring out relationships. But I think there's a certain mother, father consciousness or something like it, like intellectually or some form of emotion, because our instruments, AI, function by electricity. So there's positive and negative charges, and charges interact. Yeah. When we say spirituality, that's also positive, negative, heaven, hell. So our polarities, light also has a certain effect on our polarized light, unpolarized light. And there's a certain magnetic effect on our body. Yeah. So when the magnetic effect has an effect on the body, the circadian rhythms change slightly. It affects our body circadian rhythms, composition, substance of our body. And then you need to regularly recalibrate so that you're being you and not becoming ChatGPT, for example. Yeah. Or another person. Or your originality becomes a little artificial. And that's not just because of the screen. You could just be interacting with, say, your partner so much that the partner is having an effect on you, such that you don't know where you end and another begin, and your partner begin. Yeah. Or you have children, or you have neighbors, you have plants, trees. Farmer, for example, would have an effect on the body. Yeah. And then you need to know, okay, this is my stuff, this is plant stuff, and this is plant stuff. This is people stuff. My stuff, my partner stuff. Yeah. And then sunlight stuff, moonlight stuff. And then there's also Jupiter stuff, Mars stuff, different planets, Milky Way, all have their different effects. So you should know, where is this influence coming from? It's called social media influence. Yeah. So you need to be able to, that's also called awareness, mindfulness, present moment appreciation. Otherwise, we could get lost in time. Past, future, and then our own past, our own, I've lost my future. What in the moment is the present? The present is called present. There are some bits that is already available, and then you don't know what you have. And then you say, I don't have, I don't have. So before you even know, information is here. Yeah. There are some things that you already have. For example, you have your body that's human. So before the school starts, you already have a body that's human, and it's your own body that's one of the textbooks, book of life, that we're going to study for some time. So you already have the human body, which is one of the books that you're going to be studying in MITI school. Okay? Try and get familiar with the book as much as you can, because we will further make information available. So if this is sounding like big stuff, we have smaller stuff coming up. Okay? And I'm in the UI phase, noticing the toxicity from UI. Yeah, and then as of this morning, I think, this morning or maybe yesterday, I don't know, around there, I began to come to the U circle. UI, and then there is the you. Okay, after you, there is your, and then there is us, and then there is ours, and then there's we, and then there is mu, like me and you, mu, music, or Jambudvipa, Jambalaya, where have you? Yeah, so we got lots of stuff. And then there are some more vowels from there. Okay, so alphabets, we have 28 alphabets, including and aha, and several details. Just simply saying the numbers and alphabets won't do, because there is vectors, and then there is several details. And we're talking about gotras, 8 gotras, and then derivatives from there, and how artificial intelligence or the derivatives from the gotras then gives rise to whew, hallucinations. You could get so lost in archetypes. Yeah. And when you don't know archetypes, you are having a moment. You don't know who's your guru, who's your parent, who's, yeah, your Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, and then the complementary partners and consorts. You don't know the scheme of things. Okay? Get lots of information, so many fields of study in a simple format. But they may not be teaching all of this in one school. There could be engineering school, medicine school, account school, um, internet lifestyle school, yeah, leadership school, management school. This is all of that in one school. Yeah, that takes a little bit of work. But life gets simpler. When you have a frame of reference from where to see all of these different kinds of information, you would think you can get it already. Yeah, but I'm now in the UI phase. Yeah, and I'm discovering how much of toxicity could there be in how we put bits of information together between my words, mighty words, and you words, YouTubers, I don't know. Yeah. How me and you speak. You speak, you have your own ways of thinking from the seven based calculations and ways of being. So that's kind of like another form of artificial intelligence. You don't really know the whole scheme of things. And you have perspectives. Like if you're on the surface of Earth, and I'm speaking from the core of Earth. Yeah, from core, I can see layers, and then I can see the circle, and I can see layers outside, all the way up to universe, multiverse, and okay, so I got a lot of layers. Yeah. So what I'm saying may not be simply understood. Yeah. But consider that you're like on the surface of Earth, or from this video, if you can kind of get an assessment of where you are in my scheme of things or how I'm seeing things, you would have a little idea of how much of work you need to do, or if you feel ready to or called in to have a conversation, and then you begin the journey, and then you talk to me only as much as you can handle it. And then you tell me, okay, we stop now. I'm going to go consider the matters, and then we'll have another conversation. So you know your size, how much you can handle it when you're feeling ill. Yeah. We pause, you take your time to figure things out, and then we come back and we have a conversation. So you can do that with this video. If you're ready to have a conversation, to have begin your journey to the center of Earth, yeah, Lord of the Rings dot. So we could do that too at your own time. So do let me know. So that's where I am right now. I need to speak so people have an idea of where they are, where things are, and we slowly begin to get better. Yeah. So, all right. So from UI to you, I'm now more in the U circle, and I'm looking at the your bit. Yeah, and the you bit is again where I came to the Vishuddha. वो गले में अटका kind of. Yeah. But if you look at it as blue, my partner also has been in blue colors. Yeah, he kind of likes the blue colors. And I've been more in the red, pink, phoenix colors, and he's more like the peacock colors, I think. Yeah. And he's got so many eyes. Yeah, Phoenix has. Yeah, okay. So I'm more thinking we should the blue. We just, yeah. And then there is the your circle, and then us circle, and our circle, and we circle, and new circle, music. So we got some layers. But I will keep informing, so you're also more informed on where am I, what am I thinking from. So we're getting better. And then there are things that are not already known, but I'm in different stages of making the course, webinars. So consider this to be a kind of a webinar, right? Lots of information, I know. So I will look at how better to make this available. Tiny little bits. I can go back and forth in video, yeah, and in a referenceable manner. So it's stage wise. So I'm working through those details, just letting you know. Yeah. Thank you so much for your kind interest. Good day.